Good evening. It's Wednesday, June 3, 2020 here in Cebu City. I'm Cherry Ann Lim, and here's all you need to know in Newsbits tonight. The lockdowns in Sitio Callejon in Barangay Labangon and in Barangay Bacayan in Cebu City have been lifted. The status of Sitio Callejon has been downgraded to enhanced community quarantine. Here's Chari Coronel for the details.
After more than a month, the lockdown at Sitio Callejon in Barangay Labangon, Cebu City has been lifted. The Sitio status is now downgraded to enhanced community quarantine. Mayor Edgardo Labella issued a memorandum showing the recommendation of the City Health Department to lift the lockdown in Sitio Callejon. With the ECQ status, strict safety protocols must still be observed, such as wearing of face masks, physical distancing, and regular hand washing. Labangon Barangay Captain Victor Buendia says residents in the area can now go out, but limited only when they need to access or buy essential goods. For the residents returning to work, the barangay issued medical certificate for them to show they are free from the virus. Those guarding the entry points of the sitio are still on duty. After majority of the COVID-19 patients in the sitio have recovered, and with the lockdown which ran for more than a month, Buendia presumed that the area is no longer contaminated or there is no more community transmission. However, there is still regular disinfection activity in the sitio. Aside from Sitio Callejon, the lockdown in Barangay Bacayan is also lifted. Dr. Jonji Zuasola, head of the Department of Health Central Visayas Regional Epidemiology and Surveillance Unit, says it would be up to the LGUs to determine under what quarantine status a barangay, city, or compound should be placed based on the parameters recommended under the Project Balik Buhay Prevalence Survey. The DOH Regional Office recommended that the LGUs use the scaling model to decide whether to unlock or lock a community based on the level of cases and exposure. The locking or unlocking of sitios or barangays would depend on the actual number of positive cases, determined by the reverse transcription polymerase chain reaction test results and the results of the rapid antibody test. The DOH Central Visayas has encouraged LGUs to conduct regularly disease surveillance, preferably every 15 days, to determine the status of various barangays in the fight against COVID-19 and the corresponding actions they would take. Chari Coronel, Newsbits Tonight.
Cebu City now has 2,450 COVID-19 cases after it logged 42 new infections today. The city also reported 16 new recoveries. This brings the total number of recovered patients in the city to 1,176. Here's Kenneth Torres for the details.
The Cebu City Health Department recorded 42 additional cases of coronavirus disease today, bringing the total count to 2,450. The new infections came from Sitio Banawa, Barangays Luz, Bulacau, Calamba, Camputao, Careta, Guadalupe, Lahug, Lorega, San Miguel, Pardo, San Nicolas Proper, Suba and Tisa with 1 case each, Barangay San Nicolas, Ermita, Inayawan, Quiyot, Sawang Calero and Tinago with 2 cases each, Barangay Sambag Uno with 3, Barangays Labangon and Tejero with 4 cases, and Dulho Fatima with 6 cases. Aside from the new cases, the City Health Department also recorded 16 new recoveries which came from Barangays Ermita and Pasil with 1 recovery, Careta and Mambaling with 2 recoveries, Labangon and Camputao with 3 and Lahog with 4. This brings the total recoveries in the city to 1,176. 1 fatality was also added who came from Barangay Careta in Cebu Province. 13 cases were recorded today, bringing the total count of COVID-19 infections to 186. Governor Gwendolyn Garcia says the new infections came from Minglanilla with 6 cases, Talisay City with 5, while Barili and Consolacion have 1 case each. Kenneth Torres, Newsbits Tonight.
The Archdiocese of Cebu has implemented the no face mask, no entry policy in all Catholic churches in Cebu as masses resume. Yesterday, Cebu Governor Gwendolyn Garcia issued an executive order allowing the holding of public masses. Here's Chari Coronel for the details.
No face mask, no entry. This is one of the health protocols implemented by the Archdiocese of Cebu as masses resume. On June 2, Governor Gwendolyn Garcia issued Executive Order 17F, allowing the holding of masses in the province of Cebu, but with 50% capacity only. Reverend Father Japheth Gyonzon, the Vice Chair of the Commission and Worship of the Archdiocese, says the new normal guidelines of the Catholic churches were implemented starting June 1 as Cebu City transitioned to general community quarantine. Aside from the wearing of face mask, foot bath, sanitation area, and alcohol area are installed in the churches. Chairs were also marked to keep the 1-meter distance. Each parish is required to purchase a thermal scanner to check the body temperature of attendants before going inside the church. Exit points are also mounted to observe physical distancing, especially during communion. Conduct of homilies are encouraged to be shortened to maximum of 5 minutes only. The Archdiocese asked the faithful to be patient and follow the new normal protocols inside the churches. Disinfection and sanitation will also be done every after Mass. Chari Coronel, Newsbits Tonight.
The Social Security system has extended the deadline for contribution payments to June 15, 2020. Here's Kenneth Torres for the details.
The state-run Social Security system says it is extending the deadline of contribution payments until June 15. The new extension covers contribution payments of all household employers, self-employed, voluntary and non-working spouse members for the first quarter of 2020, and contribution payments of all regular employers for February, March, and April this year. SSS says employers with approved installment proposals under the Contribution Penalty Condonation Program also have until June 15 to deposit their post-dated checks due in February, March, April, and May 2020. SSS President and Chief Executive Officer Aurora Ignacio says the extension aims to give members and employers more time to pay contributions since restrictions caused by the COVID-19 pandemic has only been eased recently. Ignacio urged members and employers to avoid paying at the last minute. The agency encouraged its members to use online and mobile payment facilities aside from the over-the-counter transactions through SSS branches and its bank and non-bank partners. However, no contributions paid retroactively by a self-employed, voluntary, or non-working spouse member will be used in determining their eligibility for any benefit arising from a contingency wherein the date of payment is within or after the semester of contingency. Payment deadline of employers for applicable months after April 2020 and payment deadlines of self-employed, voluntary, and non-working spouse members for the applicable months after April 2020 or quarters after the quarter ending March 31 will follow the regular payment schedule. As public health and safety remain the top priority of the SSS, it reminds transacting members and employers to follow guidelines issued by the government to reduce the risk of exposure to COVID-19. Kenneth Torres, Newsbits Tonight.
To get the latest, visit www.sunstar.com.ph. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on our social media accounts on Twitter and Facebook. I'm Cherry Ann Lim. Good evening.